Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. We're going to do our daily analysis. Oil, gas, solar. I was going to say silver. Oil, gas, silver, but it's solar. I keep looking at solar. I know some people don't like solar. Uh, I, the reason I have it in here is they're going to throw a bunch of money at it. And I think we are going to have a crisis and are in a crisis of oil, gas, coal, which will spill over into uranium and solar. And these guys, the governments, they're bent on going right after solar. I don't know why, but I'm going to throw a little bit of money in it. If they're going to throw trillions at it, might as well have some money there. And that's kind of how I look at it. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. And then also, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as anything else. So let's dive in. Let's see what we got for oil, gas, and solar, and that'd be natural gas. We're going to look at light crude oil. And yeah, we did break this downtrend line, but we're coming on up. I'm looking at candlestick patterns here. And every time we do try to sell off, it gets bought up and moves higher. So the trend's your friend, just let it go higher. So my guess is that we are going to continue higher, even though we had a little bit of a sell-off day today. Could we come back? We could. I'd really like to see what tomorrow brings. Natural gas, I mean, we're finding a little bit of footing here. We still have some downside potential. 2 big selling pressure days, small up days. I mean, the sellers could come out of the woodworks right here and push it lower if they wanted to. So let's see what tomorrow brings us. XLE, I mean, we're coming on up. And is this going to be up top? We'll find out tomorrow. Every time I say that it looks like we could potentially turn, it goes on up. So maybe I'll say, looks like it could potentially turn, but it's probably going to go up. I don't know. It's a difficult one to read. We do have some support underneath at 55 if it wants to pull back and do a retest. That's where I'd be looking to see it resolve. And we're throwing up and down days. This is a bullish engulfing here yesterday. We had a down day today, which, I mean, it's not a bearish pattern at all. So we could still head higher depending on what oil does. Centennial Resource Development. We have a bullish engulfing pattern yesterday. We had a down day today. Let's see where it ends up. Today it ended up at $6.66. Hopefully that's not signaling anything. And then Callon Petroleum had a little bit more selling pressure than the other guys. So this one looks like it could potentially head lower still. Looking at Contango, a little bit of sell-off here, close kind of low. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. It's been in this sideways pattern. We've got Southwestern Energy, another company I own. Bearish. Oh man, that's a hard one to read. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. Some of these are getting really hard to read, guys. We've got, I mean, it's positive that we have big buying pressure and then the leak off of sellers, but these candlesticks are pretty large, even today. Does this mean we could potentially head back a little bit lower? It does, but it's getting hard. I'd like to see what tomorrow brings us. Recaf, I mean, it's not a huge down day, but again, it is signaling that we could head lower. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. On almost all these patterns, they're getting really hard to read. I mean, see how this guy's going to be right at support? Let's see if this thing holds the support line. Sandridge, I mean, we've got a bullish engulfing pattern here, a little bit of a strong sell-off here, almost a bearish piercing. It's like we're fighting back and forth. We're probably going to go sideways for a little bit longer before moving up. I say before moving up because that bullish engulfing. We have a bullish engulfing pattern on CRU, which then today we have a bearish piercing pattern, which could head lower. This is a battle between buyers and sellers happening right here. I don't know which way it's going to resolve. Probably sideways is my guess. Antero Resources, bearish engulfing. We tried to come back up, got sold off. We could have a pullback here in Antero Resources. Tetra Technologies, small little down days, doesn't look too bad. We just need a buyer to step in and push it higher. Sellers aren't womping it. We've got Transocean. Transocean could head lower. I mean, the possibilities there, it looks like we've got this kind of squeezing up type pattern here. where if we break to the downside, we could have a little bit of a sell-off. Projected move would be the size of this guy here. So maybe something like that. We could head lower here to $3. Now here's tan. Tan's looking good to continue higher. That's my opinion. Doesn't look bad at all. And Beam, no big sellers in here. At least not yet. We'll see what happens this next trading day. Sunworks, again, we have a small little sell-off day today. Big buying pressure, small sell-off. Big buying pressure, small sell-off. I think tomorrow we could see it go higher here at any second. We do have a downtrend line right here that we broke. So I think it's going to be very soon that we could potentially head higher. SOL, another one. The sellers aren't really selling this thing off. I think we could continue higher. SunPower, bullish engulfing. So we've got these bullish engulfing here. Nice big buying pressure, small selling pressure. This looks good to continue higher, in my opinion, and break through this resistance area of about $30. And Canadian Solar looks good to potentially head higher here as well. Doesn't look bad. End phase is looking good. If you draw the pattern comes through here. It's right trying to break out of it. Big buying pressure, small selling pressure. I think we're going to continue higher. Same with fuel cell. See the big buying day and then the small sell-off within the buying day? Probably going to head higher. Resolve upward. We've got Plug Power here, a little bit of a candlestick at the top. If it's trying to break through this resistance area, I think once we break through it, it's going to be a fun run. And here's Daku, New Energy. Throwing in a downtrend line. We broke that. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't continue higher. The pattern looks good all through here. The candlesticks, small down days, probably resolve higher. So I say solar looks the best out of all of them, of all the sectors that I'm looking at the moment. So looking at oil and natural gas, every time I say anything about oil coming back down, it just goes higher. It's like it just keeps getting bid up. Is it going to continue higher? Well, let's find out. It does look a little tired to me. We've got big move and smaller contractions. I'll go back up there and show you guys. If you were to draw this thing out, and I'll do that for you right here quick, of why I think it looks a little bit tired. Why I'm saying that. Let me get myself out of here. So if you look at, we get this kind of an original move here, and then a pullback. Another move. And what we're doing is we're contracting upward. This move here, we'll call it number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Each one of these moves, if this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is this guy. It's getting smaller as it goes up, like it's getting more tired and more tired. And then it's going to turn and then probably head lower for a little bit. That's my guess. But every time I say that, it's like they squeeze out another day up. So we'll see what happens. I think that we're probably going to go sideways or have like a little consolidation period where it does like one of these, and then it'll do one of these. Something like that. So that's my best guess. But that's just what I'm seeing. It looks like some of the stocks want to go sideways or pull back a little bit. But every time I say that, buyers step in and then they push it higher again. Because we do have some strong fundamentals around the world for energy in general, and it's spilling over into other energy sectors. So what do? I just hold on. I'm not doing anything here. I wouldn't be a buyer necessarily, and I wouldn't be selling either for myself. So I'm not a buyer or seller in crude oil. What I'm looking at is the oil, the gold, silver companies, because they're down right now. So that's what I'm looking at. And what's down is the opportunity to make money. Copper looks good too. We can get a little retest and then a bounce higher. So hopefully you guys like this content. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.